holiday tournament, Hall of Fame tournament. I don't know who's ready whenever you're ready.
All rise, please. We'll begin the meeting. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor York, will you lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the opportunity that we can serve our community. I pray as we come on this Christmas season that we remember you and remember the reason of this season. Keep us safe and keep us in the palm of your hand. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Mike Duffy.
Present.
Jeff Hancock.
Present.
Jerry Walden.
Present.
Aaron Dickens.
Here.
Mark Hoger. Lynn Purdue.
Here.
Rex Beckentall.
Here. Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckentall.
Aye. That brings us to where we approve or add to the agenda. And there are two things I want to add to the agenda. I'd like to add discussion, possible vote on some funding to help with renovations to the Westminster Community Center, and also consideration of an email that was sent to us by Everett Cole. Is there any objection to that? Hearing none, we'll consider that approved. Do we have any public comments or special presentations tonight? Okay. Move on to committee reports. Mr. Guffey?
I have none.
I just have one and all that stuff. On Indiana Avenue, there's a lot of trash throughout apartment and all that. It has traveled quite a bit and all that, and I've seen people go through it and scatter it more. I called Lee, and Lee went and looked at it and all that. Lee said that a company out of Houston owned it and all that, but he did his homework and all that. He called me up a little bit later. He said that a person in Houston inherited the property, and he'd have it cleaned up the next day. So, Lee, thank you for doing that extra step and all that, and I appreciate it getting cleaned up. He said that the city workers would pick it up, and I told him, I said, I just soon have it picked up and throw it on their front porch, but they don't live there anymore. But he did the extra work and all that, and got her done.
But we'd already had them cited and
Appreciate it. And all that. And they cleaned it up the next day, not the city workers, but
yeah.
then, so he was unaware of what happened, so really appreciate Lee going the extra mile. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay. Jerry?
I want to thank Dave, or Chief Ward, for inviting me out to the shop with the firemen. It was pretty awesome. Chief, you need to be very proud of that. And Chief Schofield, I know the police department did the same thing. It's amazing what our city employees do for the people of this city, let alone taking care of us. Going that extra step, and almost adopted one little kid. They couldn't get enough of me, so I think I was getting warmed up for when the grandkids are coming up for Christmas. So, but really appreciate all that you guys do. It makes a big difference for those families, and going and witnessing that, you got to see it in action. So I really, really appreciate everyone's effort with that. Also would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. Starting out a new year and looking forward to that, and keep moving Newcastle, our city, in a positive direction. So that's all I have.
Mr. Dickens?
I too just want to remind everybody during the holidays to take a second and appreciate the phase of life you're in, because some people get that cut short, and each phase is something to be thankful for. So just keep that in mind this holiday season. Wondered if there was an update. I know conversations with insurance on the water main break on Riley have been kind of ongoing. Had a couple conversations between last meeting and this meeting. and understandably, residents are pretty stressed out, paying tens of thousands. I think somebody may be paying close to 100,000 in foundation damage.
Couple of them.
Yeah, so I didn't know, I mean, is there any progress? Is there something we need to do to hold the contractors' feet to the fire a little more? Is there anything we can do to push?
We've done all we can do. We met with Duke today.
Mm-hmm.
It's in lawyers and insurance hands now, so you've had a background in insurance. So we're moving at the speed of, oh, no offense, Joel, sorry.
I understand.
We're moving at the speed of insurance and lawyers.
Right.
At this stage of the game, but we're working on it.
And they've got to be aware
Daily.
of how this is putting those residents out, I would assume. I mean, they've seen the documentation. I think they've all done a great job documenting everything, so.
Well, and some of those want to turn that documentation over to us, and some of them don't. So they want
Yeah,
to keep
okay.
that private for their
Right.
lawyer, so.
Understand.
Those that want to hold it and keep
Right.
it from us, I can't turn it in
Yeah.
if they don't give it to me.
Right.
So we're working with them, if not daily, weekly.
Yeah, okay, good deal. And then lastly, I just wanted to thank Brenda for being great to work with and communicate with on all issues relating to city business, and especially those issues outside of the normal city business, because she has a heart for this community unlike many others. So just really appreciate her work and her service over the last 4+ years. That's all I have. Mr. Perdue?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay, a few items. The first item is kind of a housekeeping item. Over the course of the year, we allocated various monies from the American Rescue Plan, and several times a lot of times we came out right on the money, but several times we've allocated money up by saying up to this amount, and we haven't quite spent that amount, so there's money sitting there in those lines, and I just want to, I'm going to read through those and basically make a motion to pull that money back into the ARP pot. The first one, on the mural at Main and Broad, we had a $5,000 amount there that would have been there for quite a while, but we're going to pull that back simply because the hospital is taking that project under their wing, and they're going to be doing that, so there's no need for us to have $5,000 to maintain it if they're doing it. We've got in the community crossings grant, we had allocated $250,000, and there was $45,506.57 left there, which we'll pull back. That doesn't mean we can't reallocate it to the next round if we so desire. There's also on North 16th Street, we allocated some money to do a sidewalk there, and we had from that we had $4,700 left. And then we had $3,000, and when we did the bonuses, we had a certain amount that each employee would get, and we made sure we had enough to cover all those. Well, we had $3,000 too much there, so we pulled that back. So I moved, and Brendan has all these written down, and we'll do this, but I moved that we pull these funds back into the ARP pot.
I'll second that motion.
Gets moved and seconded. Any questions or anything on that?
Rex, what was the amount on the community crossing again?
About 45,507, 506 and some change.
Yeah, 45,506.
506.57.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll send everybody, I'll take a picture of this and text it out to everybody so they can see it. The breakdown on the Lowett and the Riverboat and the ARP, so everybody can look at it. But hearing no other discussion, we'll take a roll call vote.
Mike Guthrie.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Gary Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Speckenpaul.
Aye. Okay, the next thing, you know, we've had a lot of discussion, and really for quite a while, about homelessness. There's a problem, and it's been a problem for hundreds of years, really. I mean, you know, just to a greater or lesser degree in this world. But anyway, there have been a group of people working diligently to do something for women. Of course, Christian Love Help Center does something for them with their resources, and what they've done is limited. But a group out of Hope Initiative, and I've been blessed to be able to sit in on a lot of those meetings. But the group from Hope Initiative has been working diligently to try to figure something out for women who do not have really a place to go. The initial, and Nan, I'll give you permission just to speak up and say, no, you're wrong, okay? Because Nan is the leader of that group. But anyway, the initial thrust was that they would find a house. We have a program out at the county jail called JCAP. We have women graduate. We have women and men graduating from that. But the thing about the men is there is a place they can go if they really want to go and not be homeless. They can go to the guest house. That's their option. They may decide not to, but they have a place. Women don't have as much of a place to go. And so we're having women graduate from the JCAP program, and we heard of, just today, we heard a story of one that graduated and had to go right back in more or less into where they come from, and they end up dying. You know, so anyway, that was the initial idea, to do something for when these women come out of JCAP, there would be a place for them to go, and that program would be a 15-week program. They would live in the house. They would have somebody that basically counseled them, taught them about having a checking account and a savings account. They'd have to have a job. They'd have to remain drug-free. You know, and I'm not going to go through all, but you can get the picture on that. But anyway,
Hey, Ray,
yes,
you said 15 weeks.
15 months, yeah, sorry. Anyway, but they would go through this program, and at the end of those 15 months, they would come out of that and hopefully be in a situation where they had a job, they had money in a savings account and in a checking account, and they would be able to now take care of themselves.
Rex, the county commissioner told me that, and correct me if I'm wrong, a house was gave North 16 and county gave $30,000
Right, that's
open
kind
money
of where I'm headed.
to this.
But a couple of brothers are giving a house to this program. Okay, this house it's a blessing, because initially the county council and county commissioners gave, I believe, $120,000, is that? $130,000 to purchase a house and renovate it. Well, when these folks are willing to give a house, that means now that money can be used to renovate the house and make it into something that'll be nice for these women. But that house will be, by the time it's renovated and everything, it's going to be several months before that's ready to move into. One other option that they had on the table for the program was the Westminster Center that had been vacated by Westminster. It's owned by the Presbytery of Indiana. And the Westminster Center, when the Hope Initiative initially looked at it, it was going to cost several $100,000 to get it, to where it could be used for this program that they want to do with these ladies from JCAP. And so, anyway, the house was donated, and they're going to be able to renovate the house. They're going to be able to, with the Westminster Center, they've determined that if they can get control of the Westminster Center initially, because there's a part in the upstairs that can be easily renovated to house the women that'll be eventually in the house, then that takes care of that transitional period there of several months. Do you want to add something?
Well, the Whitewater Presbytery, it was in litigation. They didn't really have control of it until about a couple months, 6 weeks or so ago. and then they offered it to us. And, we really weren't in a situation to take it. So part of that is we're going to try to fix up just a couple of apartments to kind of start the program. And hopefully, I think, and there are other people here that have been a part of this, the gymnasium part, there's going to be a restroom and a shower put there. And that's going to be then open, hopefully, for homeless.
For women.
For women. Now, we'll have a location. What we're having a little bit of an issue in starting up is trying to get people there to oversee. So,
But that's not really what we're gonna deal with here tonight as far as the
No,
oversight.
We're just, right, we're
Well-
just looking for, it needs to be renovated, and it doesn't have some bathrooms, it doesn't have showers, it will eventually need to have kitchen. But in order to get this kind of piloted and going, until the other one was ready, because there's an immediate need. Women are coming out of JCAP, they're graduating another class Thursday. And that doesn't necessarily mean they come out of incarceration, but when they do,
Right.
they're drug-free. And if they go back to what they've been doing, they go back to what they've been doing.
And that's really where Mr. Aaron's here. He's listening and disgracing with us with his presence. He can talk if he wants to. But the Hope Initiative approached the guest house because the guest house, of course, has some experience in dealing with homeless people, about possibly taking the Westminster Center and using it for a women's shelter. But the guest house they have enough on their plate with what they have, so they really can't staff the Westminster Center. Okay, is what it comes down to. But they have agreed to, or if everything gets lined up, they have agreed to take control of the guest house, or of the Westminster Center, and they've agreed to keep it for 6 months or a year while the program for the ladies coming out of JCAP gets off the ground, and then renovations will take place in that building. And at that point, Angela Cox is working diligently to find some group that will staff that place for a homeless shelter. And she's on fire about it. That may be putting it mildly. But anyway, I really appreciate the guest house stepping up to be able to take this. 6 months or a year from now, we will have the money that the county has put in that's done renovations, and when I ask you here in a minute, we'll have money that we have hopefully put in with some other renovations that will make that property attractive if we get somebody to come in and run it that Angela gets, or if all of a sudden that doesn't quite work out and some group from like a Turning Point or somebody like that would come in and lease that, or the guest house could gift it to them or lease it to them so they can run a women's homeless shelter. The whole idea is to deal with the issue of women being homeless. I know that maybe doesn't make sense. If you got a question, you can ask Nan. You can ask me, but I'll refer to Nan most of the time, or Bruce. But I really appreciate the guest house stepping up to help out with this. Yeah.
And how many women fit in the house that's renovated?
In the house?
In the house.
Well, we're saying 10, possibly up to 12. In order for it to be sustainable, the women have to come in and pay rent and have a job. And before they leave, they will have a bank account. In order for it to be sustainable, we're thinking between 8 and 10. But we think when it gets renovated and finished, we'll have enough room for 10, maybe 11, something like that.
And the kitchen's no longer operable at Westminster House?
I've been in it several times, and it needs some,
Needs brought up to code.
right.
Probably whenever you change.
It had the sinks and
Yeah.
the stations and stuff.
Oh, Mr. Aaron.
I just met with Chris Lamar. He's an architect said, you really need to get the kitchen on the lower level. That's something, you know, it's kind of new, but it's doable.
Mhm.
So that's another thing we need to do. If we move the kitchen downstairs, it's got as much as 5 rooms, I think it's sleeping
Upstairs.
in
Mhm.
upstairs. Plus the gym, you know, we, like open dormitory style.
A little bit of history. Jerry Walden was in the first kindergarten class at Westminster. Mrs. B and Mr. Tars were the teachers there.
Should we put a plaque up over there?
No, that's
How much does it cost to run
In the 40s or
electricity?
50s.
Well, now, are you asking about the utilities?
I
Well, the
was trying
third,
to put a dig in the wall.
oh, okay, yeah, because probably they didn't use candles
Candlelight,
back
probably,
then.
yeah.
But anyway, the 30,000 that the county is providing, there's construction money in there, there's money for utilities in there, there's a package to make it last 6 months, and they're willing to go 6 months more potentially. But now what I'm gonna just make a motion that I know we have almost $30,000 right now in opioid money sitting in our account, correct, Brenda?
Yep.
And we'll get more, here as the next year progresses. But I would like to propose that we, and it may not all get spent, may every dime, they may want to come back for more, but I propose because we can use this opioid money, it's the same money the county has, to allow for construction in the Westminster Center to make this a potential homeless shelter for women.
Could it be also used for staffing purposes, or do you want it
Uh,
to just be?
I think it's more, right now, there may be more than 30,000 that's needed for the whole
Mhm.
thing
Get
anyway.
the program to go.
And I think then, if we get to the point where we're seeing that we need money for staffing, we really can't, the problem with us, our opioid, we could do it next year, but after next year, our money goes like this. Now, the county stays pretty high, but ours drops off significantly after next year. So we could not commit probably to staffing because of, you want to be able to sustain it.
Right.
But we can commit to helping get it to where, it's usable.
Can I
Okay.
ask you a question, Rex?
No. Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
I'm speaking now from a township board, member for the Henry Township Board. Are you talking just people coming out of jail, or is it actually going to be a combination of people coming out of jail and homeless?
Well, there's kind of two
Yeah,
separate
it's
programs.
wherever they come from. I mean, it's going to be an emergency shelter.
The first months that the Westminster Center, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the first months that it is used, it will be used for women coming out of the JCAP program that are transitioning out of jail and off of they're off of drugs and getting ready to hopefully 15 months later be a productive member of society. The other section is the homeless, and it could be any homeless person, any homeless woman.
With that said, then, would you be willing to come to the township board and ask for some money from the township? Because I know that has been a big thing in the last few months. And township, no matter what, it's bigger than what the township by itself can build or staff. But on something like this, if someone else is willing to staff it, I think that the township, Henry Township, would probably be willing to kick in some money to also to help perhaps.
I will ask anybody for money.
She's replacing Karen Merritt.
Been out of school at Karen Merritt. I just think that.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Another thing that I'm opposed to the township trying to do it by itself, but I would not be opposed to going in and partnering with.
We have a staff, we have a director for our program, our transitional housing program. What we don't have staff for is guest house is long-term intending to do with Westminster.
So this is
But
bigger-
Angela
this
Cox
bigger
is
than
working
any one,
on that.
Yes, it is.
Person can do, and again, the township is not in a situation where they can do it by themselves.
Right.
So I think that if you would come to the township board, I think you would find willingness there to try and help.
Might run that by Angela too.
Okay.
And what type of timeline are you looking at for trying to get this going?
We are tentatively thinking that we might in February be able to get in Westminster and get some women in apartments there.
Those would be the women transitioning
women's
out of the
transitional out
JCAP
of
program.
rehab.
It's kind of steps. It's kind of taking
Right.
one step and then another step, and the same thing with the construction. One step, we get the women in that part, and then another step.
The house, we hope to get possession of the house early next year, in January. We hope that, and then we will immediately start with renovation.
Okay.
So, but
I wonder,
I don't know how many construction
Well, do we
people are
want,
in here, but that's.
let's
what we-
finish. Did anybody second that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
I mean, just so that I'm clear, because there's been a lot. The house is eventually for JCAP.
The house has nothing to do with what we're.
Right,
doing.
but that's what it's gonna be used for. The Westminster Center is for homelessness, like a homeless shelter for women.
Eventually.
And then, yeah, right.
Initially, it's going to pilot our
Yeah,
program.
yeah, and then it's gonna move to the house, right?
We haven't set a dollar amount.
And
for
neither
that,
of this
That's
is
30.
with the
30,000.
recovery
30,000,
system.
that's what I said.
Totally, it's hope
Right,
right now, right?
we're
Separate.
after recovery.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's all I needed
Okay,
that.
any other questions or discussion?
I just wondered how vocational building trades, are they ahead of the game? Can
They're
participate?
booked up, and that's up to, once we put our 30,000, that's gonna be up to these folks to determine who does the work. We
We've
don't
talked
need to
building
be determining.
Have you talked to them about it?
But they're booked up for 2 years.
Okay.
Is my understanding.
All right, oh, go ahead.
We've been wined and dined by IU Health, Ball Memorial Hospital about our opioid money going towards that and going there. And our present experience, Chief Schofield, is they don't have room for us. You know, so my 2 cents worth is for us to use our opioid money in our own county, that our own people, our own residents or relatives are gonna get use out of. I have much more of a comfort zone here than, I don't know how many meetings we've sat through.
Oh, initially, the Muncie thing sounded like a pretty good deal, until we started looking at it a little deeper, and it didn't. Not at all.
So my only point is that I feel like it's a much better investment for us locally than it is to join with IU Health.
It is gonna, I mean, women are gonna be helped by this, there's just no doubt about it. And the worst case scenario is we take this building, and the building is renovated to a point where, maybe it's Angela that gets the people to staff it, so it could be used as a women's shelter, or maybe it's another organization, like I think Best Way was talked about, and Turning Point. I mean, if we get it to where, initially, the guest house looked at the building, but at the time, they were trying to sell the building, and they looked at the building, they saw the amount of renovation and the whole 9 yards, and they did not want it. Well, the same thing if we ask a Turning Point or a Best Way or somebody like that to come in, we gotta have some place for them to be, and we don't have any place for them to be. But when this is all said and done, somebody will be in there because it's gonna be a decent place.
Right.
So, okay, let's take a roll call vote on
Mike Guffey.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckcall.
that. Aye. Okay, I sent,
If I could say one
Oh,
more
go
other
ahead.
thing, Rex.
Yeah.
Bruce, I especially want to say thanks to you. People don't realize that the undertaking, you have the heart of Job, and people don't realize that you've done this twice, the hard way and then the state's way, and then so appreciate what you've done for our community. And talked to you just not too long ago about I thought for a long time that we had 12, 15 homeless people, and all of a sudden it's up to 30, 35 homeless people, and you said that your numbers really weren't up a little bit, then go back down. Now, what everybody needs to realize is that some people just don't want help. I mean, it is hard, but if you don't offer them something, they have nothing to go to. So appreciate everything that you've done over the years. And Bruce, we know that you know every war story there is. We've taken our police have brought guys over, and they head out the other door before we even get them signed in. So appreciate everything you've done for our community.
We've got a great community that's really been good to the guest house. You know, we've had over 1,000 guys since we started. And, you know, one thing I remember going around that building, I found needles and bushes around the building, but we got that now. I just want to thank you guys and our community for backing what we're doing over there.
Well, we want to thank you for what you've done. I mean, you've been through the trials and tribulations, and we know it's not been easy, and you've not got a lot of thanks for it. So wanted to give you a special thanks tonight. So thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on. See, Jeff Hancock showed me up 2 weeks ago by getting the meeting done in 9 minutes. And here, didn't even get that part done in 9 minutes. So anyway.
We're going over that.
Okay, I forwarded an email to you, and you may have got it, but everybody got a paper on their desk about a knockout tournament. And I got an email from, or Kendra forwarded it to me. She got it from Everett Cole. The knockout committee is looking for a sponsor for the prize money. We have some monies, but could always use a bit more. We were asking for something in the area of $3,000 to $5,000. $5,000 would be very helpful, but anything would be appreciated. He couldn't be there, but Scott is here. Scott, you want to come up and talk a little bit about that for a minute?
I can answer questions. Basically, it's the last event for the Newcastle Bicentennial. And you know, in the end, all the money's left over are going to go to the Career Center at the high school. But we're just looking for a little money to help cover the expenses of this knockout. We're not going for the Guinness record this time because takes a chunk of money to get Guinness involved, so we're not doing that. But we're just, Corey Bennett, the AD at the high school, wanted to have it between the holiday tournament they're having. So it'd be a good way to keep people around the 3 schools that are involved, or maybe an hour, hour and a half away. So keep those fans around, give them something to do. And also, we're giving monies to high school organizations like the Honor Society and the Red Hot Blues Club. But Wyatt Brewster picked those out, so he's involved with this, and Corey and Everett and is involved, and Carrie. So, have any questions on it? We're just looking for something to help cover that cost, and we can still have a chunk of money to give the Career Center at the end. So,
Any questions? Does anybody want to make a motion where this is concerned? How much are we looking at?
we think we're going to go it's going to cost about $3,000 to give money to the clubs and cover the cost of putting this on.
And I think if I understood Everett correctly, maybe I'm wrong, but that like if one of the clubs comes in, they have 100 kids shoot the basket, they would get $2 for each of those kids. I think is what he said.
The idea is to take their bib off at the end and then put it in a bucket for one of the clubs, and that they get $2 per bib put in, and we're throwing another $100 on top of that, so they can all make some money and help drive participation. And the 3 schools honor societies that are coming in will get money also. So.
Rex, which fund could this be taken from?
It can be taken out of ARP, I believe. Can we do that? You could do that. Yeah.
I'll move that we donate that $5,000. That money coming back to the community the way it could, I think it's just reinvestment in our community to make this happen. So that's my thoughts on it.
I'll second that. Okay, then we'll second it. I'll third it. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye. So we probably need resolutions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well, you're
thanks,
there,
Scott.
Thanks.
All right, that takes me to the end of my time, so I'll just turn it over to you, Mr. York.
Anything, Chief?
I do not.
Chief?
Yeah, a couple things. I passed out something that I posted and gave the chief, go come to post. This is in regards to the fire on December 5th at 1014 I Avenue. This is an excerpt from the initial report from the State Fire Marshal's Office from Homeland Security. It says, in closing, I want all of you to know how much I appreciate the efforts of Newcastle Fire Department and Newcastle Police Department when I arrive on a scene. The scene is always secure, a warrant has been secured, help is always there, and police and fire are working seamlessly with each other. I rarely, and he underlines and highlights rarely, get assistance at this level in the 9 counties that I'm assigned. I truly do appreciate the efforts and professionalism with police and fires in Newcastle. I believe it's important to inform your agencies of this in difficult times, and thank you for your service and efforts protecting life and property. So that's kind of high praise from state agency.
Absolutely.
I just want to take a moment to publicly thank. And then secondly, we have a member, if any of you wants to talk privately to us about that, you can. We have a member who got some really bad news this week, pretty devastating news. So if you keep that individual in your prayers, we appreciate that.
Anything else? Chief? Mike? Dave? Dave?
No, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, spend time with family, and be safe.
Council?
I don't have anything else.
Brenda? Kendra? Doug? Greg? Christmas time is here. Came pretty fast this year, like it always does, but it seemed to come a little bit quicker this year. Steve Dalton, a city employee that has done a lot at our police department and does all the handyman work around every facility we have, was just about 5 weeks ago found out that he has stage 4 liver cancer and is not doing very well. We have a fireman that has found out that his wife has serious illness. And all I want to say is that Christmas is here. It's not always about gifts. You know, I want everybody to remember family this year. Spend as much time with family as you possibly can. And let's use it for the real reason that it is, not just gifts. But family is pretty important, and I just want to emphasize that this year, that we don't need to overlook that. We need to spend time with our families this year and be thankful for the good things that are in our life. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we're going to hit the year running next year. And appreciate everything that everybody's done this past year. We've got a lot accomplished, and we've got a lot to be proud of. But now that the year is winding down, I don't want to take anything for granted. So we just have a lot to be thankful for, and I want everybody else to be thankful also. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Did you get this letter from Mr. Denny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's more your purview
Yeah,
than us.
right.
Okay. Now we'll move on to resolutions. Put that over here, there we go. Our first resolution is Resolution 12182-023-1. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. The Common Council hereby allocates a sum of $1,000 for a housing feasibility study by Halsted Architects to assess the feasibility of utilizing the upper floors of the Murphy Building and former Mariana Bank Building for housing purposes. This, basically, the Main Street has come before us in the past asking us for about $15,000 to do everybody's study, and we didn't quite think that was what we wanted to do. But they are gonna do that, and they have money for it. And our part to get our buildings studied is $500 per building. So this 1,000 comes because of $500 per building for the Murphy Building and the Mariana Bank. It's not paying for anybody else's building, just ours. So I'll move we pass this resolution.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckensall.
Aye. Okay, now. Gotta get down to where this, do you have that one for the turnout gear? Might be easier to meet.
Yes.
through all of it there. Okay. Now therefore, this is Resolution 121-82023-2. Now therefore be resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. The Common Council hereby appropriates from the local income tax revenues received for public safety purposes a sum of $48,189.95 for the purchase of new turnout gear to be utilized by the fire department. I'm going to move that we pass this resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. This is, this comes about mainly because the fire at Hudson's Riddles, their turnout gear by the time they were done was pretty much wasted. And so the insurance paid a portion, but not all of it, so they need the turnout gear. Okay, so any questions or anything? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckensall.
Aye. There we go. Okay. This is Resolution 121-82023-3. Transferring funds within funds from one department budget classification to another. Whereas it is necessary to transfer funds from one budget classification to another within the Clerk Treasurer's Office of the City of Newcastle. Whereas this transfer does not require the expenditure of more than the total amount set out in the budget for that fund. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana, that the Clerk Treasurer's Office shall be permitted to make the following budgetary transfers within the fund budget. And all of you have that, so I'm not going to read all of those. Do I need to read all of those?
No, you don't.
Okay, so this is basically, we do this almost every year at the end of the year simply to get things in the right place. So I'm going to move we pass this resolution. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckensall.
Aye, so that's passed. And then, this one here. Go back one. Okay, this is resolution or ordinance number 3917, and it's establishing a uniform charge for the production of law enforcement recording. Now therefore be ordained by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana, a person requesting a copy of a law enforcement recording pursuant to the Access to Public Records Act shall pay the direct cost as defined by Indiana Code for the production of the recording. The cost of labor involved in review of the law enforcement recording for non-disclosable information and obscuring non-disclosable information from the law enforcement recording shall be calculated utilizing the actual time involved in review of or redacting the law enforcement recording multiplied by the hourly pay of the employee performing the work or the hourly rate charged by the attorney performing the work, whichever is applicable. The cost of production of the law enforcement recording shall not exceed $150 per recording. I move we pass this ordinance on first reading.
Second it.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call, any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Steckenpall.
Aye. That brings us to ordinance 3918. An ordinance amending section 152.25 of Newcastle City Code. Now therefore be ordained by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. 1, a new section 152.25A4 of the City Code shall be enacted to read as follows. Barn dominium, a metal pole barn, post frame, or barn-like structure that has been partially or fully converted or constructed for residential use, dwelling purposes, or living area. 2, a new section 152.25D of the City Code shall be enacted to read as follows. D, barn dominiums. 1, a barn dominium may be constructed or utilized on a parcel zoned R1 only if the following conditions are satisfied. The parcel upon which the barn dominium is located is at least 1 acre in size, and 2, is contiguous to the property that is outside of the municipal boundaries of the city and that is utilized for agricultural purposes. B, the barn dominium is situated at least 100 feet from any street or public right-of-way. And 2, the barn dominium may not be constructed or utilized on any parcel within a city except as permitted in section 152.25D of the city code. Okay, I'm going to move we pass this so we can get to discussion. And
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions?
So basically, number 2 is saying it has to be used for housing.
Well, yes, it would have to be used, yeah, I mean, it would be, it's permitted in an R1 zone, but only in those R1 parcels that meet the conditions in paragraph 1. So it'd be pretty limited as it stands right now.
So a business well, they're still allowed in C1s, right?
Yeah,
There's
you'd have to
nothing-
have, yeah, this is just dealing with the residential.
I'm with you, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at all in city limits, even if it meets all those,
It would have to mean, it would have to meet these conditions. It would be on a parcel that's at least 1 acre size, that is also contiguous to the boundaries of the city and a property that's zoned agricultural.
So it's gonna be the ring
It
on
would be
the outside
very
of the
limited
municipal
to
line.
properties that are basically bordering farm fields, even if they're on, even if
Okay.
they're in the city, but they'd also have to be an acre in size too, so.
okay.
It would be for a parcel that you could say is more similar to a parcel that's in the county right now, that happens to be within the city limits.
Okay, but what if there's an existing house, there's one on Lincoln Avenue,
Yes, there is.
that it's all barn siding. It's an existing house, is somebody gonna say, what's grandfathered in, so it doesn't have to be.
It actually would be, because it would be, I mean, if it would be a lawful pre-existing condition, or lawful pre-existing use. If someone were to tear that structure down and want to rebuild it, then they would have to.
Answer's
be
no,
able- Yeah.
but they can
Yeah.
remodel
could
it as
side
a.
it.
Yeah.
Probably if they took the siding off of it, though, they probably could not replace it with that same kind of siding.
Well, they took vinyl siding off of this house and put barn
Metal
siding
siding
on
on
it,
it,
and it's
yeah.
red barn.
Right, it's a double.
Metal.
The duplex, yes.
So do we need to put something in there about renovation? I mean, because.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can pass this on first reading.
And then amend it.
And then we can look at any amendment.
Yeah, and it actually seals the planning commission too for a public hearing to get to weigh in on it, so it probably won't come back to you until the first meeting in February.
Okay. That gives everybody here chances to check stuff out.
Yeah, okay.
Hear back.
Okay, so it's been moved and
Yeah.
seconded to pass this on first reading, so then it can go to the planning commission, so. Brenda?
Mike Guffey.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden. Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Speckenthal.
Aye. And that completes our business. I hope everybody has a great Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks for coming.
That only little hiccup about a remodel.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I